guys! Today I'm back with another book review, and it's another one of the books that was in my current to be read list that I uploaded a couple of weeks ago. I'm going to be reviewing The Lie by C.L.Taylor. Obviously, as you can see, this was another book that I read on my Kindle and I absolutely loved it. I have very positive feelings about this book. I do feel that this is another one of these books that the plot is so full of twists and turns that it's really important that you go into it not knowing a massive amount. So that I don't give too much away, I'll just read you the back of the book to give you a bit of an overview of the plot. I know your name's not really Jane Hughes. Jane Hughes has a loving partner, a job in an animal sanctuary and a tiny cottage in rural Wales. She's happier than she's ever been, but her life is a lie. Jane Hughes does not really exist. 5 years earlier, Jane and her then best friends went on holiday, but what should have been the trip of a lifetime rapidly descended into a nightmare that claimed the lives of two of the women. Jane has tried to put the past behind her, but someone knows the truth about what happened. Someone who won't stop until they've destroyed Jane and everything she loves. This book, I tweeted about this actually. I actually tweeted the author, who tweeted me back and was quite amused by what I'd said, but this book stressed me out quite a lot, and in a good way. I read quite a lot of it on the train and I was so aware of the fact that I was making these like horrified facial expressions and the guy sitting directly across me. By the way, just as a sort of interlude, sorry about the lighting, but the sun is out. I really shouldn't complain because all I've been saying recently is that we're not getting summer here in Scotland, but the sun's out just now and it keeps going in and out from behind clouds. Anyway, I was, as I say, extremely aware of the fact that I was making these like really stressed out, horrified facial expressions because this book is extremely tense and I found it to be incredibly claustrophobic. So the story, as was explained in the back of the book, is about a young woman. Her name is Jane. Her name's not really Jane, I won't tell you what it actually is. She's got a boyfriend who she really likes, she's got a nice job that she enjoys, she's living in a nice house, and so it's nothing too extreme. She's not living this huge extravagant fancy life, it's just everything's very simple, but it's making her feel very content. And then all of a sudden someone or something seems to come back into her life to remind her of this past that she's desperately tried to bury. Now what I really liked about this book was it's a study in unhealthy friendships, I would say is how to kind of sum up this book. It's putting people into quite an extreme situation, but at the very core of it, what it's really looking at is these friendships that you make in your younger days, so when you're a teenager or while you're at college or university, and it's these friendships that you make with people who seem quite outgoing, they seem quite lively, but then as the years pass you start to realise that maybe they're not exactly what you thought that they were, but you've now formed this really tight-knit friendship group. I think unhealthy friendships are something that everybody goes through. It doesn't matter what stage of your life you're in. I think that you can sometimes find yourself in a situation where you have had someone who's been in your life for a really long time, and when it comes down to it, I talked about this actually in my Turning 26 video, but I think sometimes you can find that someone's been in your life for a long time purely because they've been in your life for a long time and you're still friends with them because you've known them for so long that you think, should I really give up this friendship because, you know, we've got all that history together, without really maybe taking into consideration the fact that they're not maybe the healthiest person for you to be around. I definitely identified with the character of Jane. I keep wanting to call her other name, which I won't, but the main character, I definitely identified with her in a lot of ways. There were elements of her personality and her place maybe within her friendship group that felt quite reminiscent to me of times in my kind of younger days. It's a core friendship group of 4 people. They each play a different role within the friendship group, which is something that I think you find in any group of friends. And I definitely recognised elements of it and thought, yeah, been there, seen that situation happening. I think for me what made this book particularly difficult to read, but in a good way, if that makes sense. It was very hard to read, but I think it was because the book is made up of present day events and flashbacks to what happened in the past. So you are going alongside Jane as she's being kind of tormented in the present, and then through sort of one chapter's in the present, then flashing back to what happened before style, you're then finding out what happened to her in the past. And in the past, Jane and her group of friends were my age and the age that a lot of my close friends are, and so it felt very easy to identify with them. I was reading this book and just thinking, you know, that could be me and a group of friends going on this holiday. What happens to them while they're away is horrifying. It's one of those things that you read about and you hear about maybe in the news, or you know, a very odd time you'll hear a story about something like this happening. But it is one of those situations that you just think that would never really happen, or that would never happen to me. And then you're reading it, and as I say, from the perspective of a girl in her mid-20s, reading about a group of friends in their mid-20s, young girls from Britain who go travelling. When I was 23, I went to Australia. I only stayed for a couple of months, but you know, from the perspective of someone who has gone away on a trip of a lifetime at that age, in your kind of mid-20s, and then reading this story and seeing what happens. I find it incredibly stressful from the point of view of going, oh my god, like, I know it's unlikely, but you put yourself in their shoes because it's so easy to identify with characters who are they're from the same country as you and they're from the same age group as you, and you know, it's a friendship group that you could very easily just replicate with your own. And so yeah, it for me was a very tense read, but something that was so enjoyable. As I say, I don't really want to give away anything about what actually happens to them while they're abroad. You will have to find that out for yourself if you read it, but I would give this book a massive, massive thumbs up. I really, really enjoyed it. So that's it for my review of The Lie by C.L.Taylor. I hope that you enjoyed that, and I apologise once again for the weird lighting. There's the sun starting to creep across my window. So yeah, I'm just going to leave it there. Thanks so much for watching. Let me know in the comments down below if you have read this book, or just let me know what you're reading in general at the moment. I'm always on the lookout for recommendations. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you're having a great weekend, and I'll speak to you again soon. Bye! I wasn't a massive fan of any of the characters, to be perfectly honest, but that doesn't really put me off in a book. I know that there are people, again, when my mum and I were discussing it, a lot of